So my second demo is about the new attach detach mechanism and some example using that mechanism. Some background information. In the past, the way that Longhorn attach and detach volume is someone make a Longhorn API code and the API gonna set the node ID. Then later on the volume controller gonna copy the node ID to the current node ID field, copy the spec node ID to the started current node ID field, and then after that the volume controller start attaching the volume. Now there are a few problems with this approach. The first problem is it could lead to deadlock if the spec node ID is different than the current node ID. Longhorn doesn't know how to handle this situation and it leads to deadlock. This is the root cause of one of the longest opening Jira tickets that we are having. The second issue with this approach is it is hard to implement new auto attachment capabilities. So a simple example would be, let's say there is an operation 1 that do auto attach the volume to take a snapshot. Then later on there is an operation 2 that auto attach the volume to take a backup. Now the volume 1 and the volume 2 are not aware of each other. When the operation 1 and the operation 2 are not aware of each other, when the operation 1 finished, we don't know what to do with the volume. So if we detach the volume, that might break the volume 2. If we detach the volume, that might break the in progress operation 2. If we don't detach the volume, then later on the operation 2 might do the same thing. It might not detach the volume. So the result is the volume is never detached and the workload cannot use it if the workload start. So we refactor we introducing in the 1.5 in Longhorn 1.5.0 we introduce a new attach and detach mechanism which look like a ticket system. So instead of the Longhorn API setting the node as a spec node ID as a volume directly, we introduce a middle layer, the volume attachment CID. Now each operation, so the CSI attacher operation, the snapshot controller operation, the backup controller operation, the cloning operation, the share manager controller operation. So each operation over here is a ticket creator, and then each operation gonna create a ticket inside the volume attachment CID. So the volume attachment CID gonna have a bunch of ticket which is requested by different operation, and then the volume attachment controller gonna take a look. It gonna look at the volume attachment object and it decide the ticket, and then it pick the ticket that based on some priority and some other logic. So it picks the tickets and then it sets the node ID according to those tickets. And finally the volume controller just attach and detach the volume solely based on the spec node ID. So it doesn't have to take a look. It doesn't have to look at the current ID. It makes the decision solely based on the node ID. And by doing this, we avoid the deadlock that we saw earlier, and also it make it possible to introduce some new auto attachment feature. So one of the feature, one of such feature is a feature auto attach volume for the Kubernetes CSI snapshot. Let me do the demo. So over here I have a Longhorn volume that is being used by a PostgreSQL that is being used by a MySQL pod. Let me try to write something to the mount point of the volume. I think the volume is mounted at valid MySQL. So we're gonna make some data over here. Okay, so let exist of this one. Let's scale down the deployment so the volume will be detached. Let's scale the deployment down to 0. The volume should be detached. I have prepared a YAML file of a CSI snapshot over here. Let's modify the source PVC so that it is taking the snapshot of the correct PVC. Now, when we apply this YAML file, the expectation is the volume should be auto-attached and a snapshot should be taken. Look like something went wrong. Oh, the PVC name is wrong. Sorry about that. Let's delete it first. Modify the name again. Okay, so this is the correct PVC. This is a PV name. So now let's apply the YAML file again. The volume should be attached. A snapshot is taken, and after that the volume is auto detached. Now let's do one further step, which is I'm trying to create a new PVC from the snapshot that we just created. So let's take a look at the snapshot that we just created first. So this is the snapshot, the CSI snapshot that we just created, and it is ready to use. Now let's create a PVC from this CSI snapshot. So look like this is a correct YAML file. Let's apply the manifest. The expectation is a new PVC. It should be created. But how come it? Maybe I have some. Okay, actually, it just takes some time. So a new PVC is created a few seconds ago. The source volume is auto attached, and the data is copied over to the clone PVC. And then when the data movement finishes, both volumes are detached. Let's manually attach this one to a node and check the data. In order to check the data of the node, I can exec into one of the instance manager over here, which has access to the host disk. So the volume is currently attached to node 01, so let's exec into this instance manager pod. Forgot to specify the namespace. Now the block device, the Longhorn block device on a specific location, and then let's cd to that location and take a look at the data, and here we can see that we do have the test file that we created earlier here. We do see the message that we created earlier. So that concludes my second demo. Thank you for watching.